Well, just as March Madness reaches the Final Four, the Supreme Court is weighing a very important case involving NCAA athletes. NBC News Justice correspondent Pete Williams joins us now with more on this. Pete, tell us about this case and what's at stake here.
Well, the case is about a limitation that NCAA wanted to put on what are known as education-related benefits, things like computers, musical instruments, postgraduate scholarships, or paid internships. A federal court, two lower federal courts, said those limits were excessive and the NCAA should not have put those limits on, and the court set its own limits. Today, the NCAA told the Supreme Court that what's at stake in this case is the future of amateurism, which is what makes college athletics different, and that if the courts come in more and more to decide whether the NCAA can set these rules, that it threatens what makes college sports different and competitive with professional sports. That's the argument. Of course, the case is not itself about whether student athletes can be paid. But if the Supreme Court were to rule against the NCAA in this case and say the court should have more of a role, then that could open the door to paying student athletes. The court seemed today to be of two minds on this. On the one hand, to think that NCAA is too restrictive, but at the same time worrying that allowing the courts more of a voice could jeopardize that very amateurism in athletics. For example, I'll give you a couple of quotes here. Brett Kavanaugh said the NCAA's authorities to set limits on benefits, quote, should not be a cover for the exploitation of student athletes. And Clarence Thomas, who's a big football fan, said, you know, we talk about limiting the benefits for student athletes when college coaches get paid millions and millions of dollars. But on the other hand, Justice Sonia Sotomayor, one of the court's liberals, said, I worry I worry that we could be undermining, destroying the game as it exists now. The Chief Justice John Roberts said he thinks that these court things could be like that game called Jenga, where you build a tower and then you try to pull out the individual logs. He said you do that time after time with individual court decisions and the whole thing could collapse. So bottom line here, I don't think the NCAA's authority is going to be vastly cut back. Maybe they'll say that the NCAA went a little too far with these limits, but this didn't seem like what is going to be a huge turning point for the future of college athletics.
So, Pete, any sense of what this could mean for sort of long-term for college athletics down the road as they're looking at similar issues?
Well, what the NCAA is worried about here is continually having to go to court to justify every rule that it lays out, and then if it ever changes its mind, getting sued for not having that rule in place in the past. So that's what they're worried about. And I'm frankly not sure exactly how the Supreme Court's going to resolve that. It didn't seem like the Supreme Court justices are ready to say, OK, NCAA, stand back. Let's start paying student athletes.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.